Hi, this is David, the IQ Center, with a quick tutorial on how to trace images in Illustrator. A lot of times with the laser cutter, you want to take some image that you find and cut it. The laser cutter requires a vector, and often what you're dealing with is a raster image. So I'm going to do a quick search in Google here. Let's say I want to laser cut the Heinz ketchup logo. And if you search images in Google, there's a trick. For tracing, you want the highest resolution image possible. And if you search Google Images, there's a little button here called Tools. If you click Tools, there are some drop downs. And over here you see Size. You can tell Google to only show you large or medium size images. So if I choose large, you'll see that as I hover over the images, you get a size in the lower left-hand corner. This one is 2,406 pixels by 1203. That's a really nice high-resolution image. If I click on it in Google, I can right-click on it and copy the image. So if I select copy image, now I can go over to Illustrator and I can paste that image into my document. So I'm going to do just Control V to paste, and you see it's really big. I can zoom out and resize the image. And so when I'm ready to trace it, if I have an image in Illustrator and it's selected, these options show up here. And one of them is image trace. So all you do is push the button that says image trace. And there it goes. Now you can see that it turned it into a black and white image. And that is controlled by this little button here. If you click this image trace panel, you get some options. And one of the options that is selected by default in Illustrator is that the mode is black and white. If you wanted this in color for some other reason, you can choose color, and you can choose how many colors, and it will retrace it and show you the color version. And there's a color tracing result. For laser cutting, you really want black and white because we want the vector outlines. So if I unspool this advanced section, you can see there are some options here. One of the things that I don't like about this is that it's kind of a little choppy across the top. It's not very smooth. So we can adjust some parameters and make this look a little better. These sliders on the image trace dialog box lets you choose whether you want a low number of paths or a high number of paths. And this is a fairly easy tracing job, so we don't need very many paths. And this corners option is how many corners there are. If there are lots of places where you have sharp corners, you want that to be high. In this case, there are really no corners, so we can make that low. And the noise is how much noise is in your image. You can slide these back and forth and try to get the best possible result. I think that looks good. Okay, I think that looks good. Now, when we're done, we can close this dialog box, and we have a vector image here, but we can't do anything with it because it is still a tracing result. So if I look in the layers panel, we're going to see that we still have an image. To commit this to a vector, we need to select this button right up here that says expand. So expand will take the tracing object and convert it into a drawing, into vectors. Now you'll see, if we unspool this, we have a whole bunch of vector objects in the layer panel. So you still have a little cleaning up to do here to make this to allow this to be laser cut. One thing you'll notice is if you have the selection tool selected and you click on it, there's a big box around it, and I can't access anything inside of it. So we need to do a little cleanup. Usually there's a large box that surrounds your entire piece of art, and we can get rid of that in a couple of different ways. If we choose the direct selection tool, or shortcut letter A, we can select just that outline box, which is sort of the background, and we can hit the delete key and delete it. So I press the delete key, and now we've got a couple of things. Now here, now we have this, which is an outline. So it depends on what you're going to cut here, but if you wanted to cut this entire thing out of a piece of plywood, it's fairly straightforward. Right now I can just tell it to make to outline that portion. There's one extra piece here, this little inside of the E. So you're going to need to do a little cleaning up this way. So if I want to make that an outline, I can do this. Now, one thing you're going to need to do here is convert this to be a red outline. And to do that, we need to make this not a black and white. So if I were to take this, one of the things that we've found in the past doing this is that if I try to make this outline red for laser cutting, you see it hasn't done anything. It's made it kind of a gray color. So what we need to do is highlight everything and go up to Edit, Edit Colors, Convert to RGB. Because we did a black and white trace, this makes a black and white drawing. So we need to convert it to RGB in order to make it red. So we convert to RGB, then we can double click the stroke and select red, and now it will take. So now we've got our logo. This will now cut on the laser cutter. If we do one more thing, change our point size to 0.072. And now we've got an object that will be able to be cut out on the laser cutter. I'm going to undo that just to show you what we've got here. It has converted our drawing into a bunch of points, a bunch of anchor points and lines. And so you can go ahead and edit this any way you want. If it doesn't come out exactly the way you want, you can go in and push these points around, smooth out a curve. But I think that's a pretty good outcome. All right, that's it. And enjoy laser cutting.